Welcome to Sports Talk with RKJ. I am your host, Steve Risser, with my co-hosts Justin D'Onofrio and Kyle Galuli, and the NBA playoffs are in full swing the second round. The Celtics were dominant on Sunday, beating the Bucks 112 to 90, and Kyrie Irving had a great game, 26 points, 11 assists. Al Horford had a really big game. That pick and pop game has really worked for Al Horford with 20 points, and then you had Jaylen Brown with 19 points too. And for the Bucks, yes, Giannis had 22 points, but the Celtics held him to 7 of 21 shooting. You look at Middleton had a decent game, but guys like Eric Bledsoe and Brook Lopez really have to step up. And the Bucks need Malcolm Brogdon back. He has just not played well. He's been hurt, but he definitely needs to be back because the Bucks are I think, a different team without Malcolm Brogdon, especially, and you saw that in the series. They didn't shoot the ball well. They shot 33%, and the Bucks definitely need Malcolm Brogdon back. Justin.
They definitely do, because you could see the Celtics kind of packed it in, and especially for Giannis, and kind of let them shoot it. The Bucks really couldn't spread out the floor offensively without Brogdon. Giannis was 7 for 21, and we've seen he cannot shoot. He went to the line. He was 5 for 10 from the line. But the Celtics did a great job with the game planning against that. You would assume the Bucks will make adjustments. It's going to probably be closer than what we saw on Sunday. But Kyrie, too, really stepped up. He was plus 20 in the plus minus. I don't know how much that you care, but led the team in that. Had a double-double. And you figured you were going to get Kyrie's best effort. You're going to get his, for if he does want to stay in Boston, or if he does want to go get his big contract, he played well. And the Bucks, they really do need Brogdon back.
Yeah. I would say that one of the biggest things in this game was the lack of three-point shooting from the Bucks, because the Celtics went up, I believe it was at the most it was 15 early on, and then all of a sudden the Bucks just were not missing from three. Everyone was hitting, and then they came back, actually went up a little bit, and then it was just repeated itself. The Celtics went way up, Bucks couldn't hit any threes at all, and then they ended up ultimately losing by 22. I think what they showed is I don't say the perfect defense with Giannis, because he's a physical freak.
Yeah. So
he can only do so much, but as long as you don't allow him just to bully you and back you down into the paint and dunk it, he's gonna essentially try to maybe spin right, spin left, and if you do that, you can kind of force him baseline, and you can have the help defender come over and double team. It's gonna shut off the baseline, so then he's gonna have to look for a pass somewhere to a shooter, or take a fadeaway jumper, hook shot, something like that. Which, if you're guarding Giannis, I'll take that all day, every day. So I think that's what they did a great job, and now it's gonna kind of show how. Obviously, I believe MVP regular season award, not postseason award for some reason, but it's going to show he wants to kind of validate his MVP, potential MVP. It's going to show now, because Celtics made adjustments. They did a great job. Now what are going to be his adjustments to their adjustments? And that's the true sign of a great player, is how good can you adjust to a great team and a great young head coach. And that's going to show. But ultimately, I'm not sure how it's going to work out, because if they don't win this game, they very easily could get swept. And they get swept, it's going to look similar to me with the Lightning and Tampa Bay Lightning in NHL, although the Bucks did win a series. Because you can't win that many games, be that dominant of a regular season team, and get swept. I understand the Celtics, they're a good team. They got depth, they got a great coach and all that, but you can't get swept. So if you got a Bucks, you got to win this. Like Steve was saying, it's a must-win game. You got to win game too.
Yeah, and you question, is Giannis a top 5 player if the Bucks don't win this series? Yes, he's a Greek freak, but how many real playoff series has he won? He's only won one playoff series, and that was to a team that he was much better. The Bucks were much better than the Pistons. You saw last year against the Celtics, lost in 7 games. If Giannis wants to be considered to be in the class of James Harden, Kevin Durant, LeBron James, Steph Curry, if he wants to be in that class, or even Kawhi Leonard, if he wants to be in that class, he's got to win big time playoff series, and he hasn't proven that yet. That's why this is such a huge series for Giannis.
Yeah,
if you disagree, you can disagree with me.
Yeah. No, I think Giannis is a top 5 player. I know he hasn't won much yet, but James Harden really hasn't won much yet.
James Harden. Okay, doesn't won much yet. James Harden was 1 win from the finals last year, and if Chris Paul doesn't get hurt, you could argue he wins a championship. So has it won much yet? Doesn't make sense there. Okay.
Yeah, I'm not very happy with James Harden, but I think Giannis is the top 5. Dude, I just see him as like LeBron, like not LeBron.
How's it
like
shooting? How's it shooting? How's it shooting? How's it shooting? Yeah, I'm not going to say. But I definitely think he's obviously potentially he's going to be a top 5 player. Yeah. But right now, is he a top 5 NBA player?
I still think he is. I think he is too. I think he can definitely win the MVP. I think he definitely shot to win the MVP.
Here's the problem with the MVP. Russell Westbrook won an MVP. I'm not taking the MVP seriously, okay? Russell Westbrook, who's not a top 10 player and clearly isn't a top 10 player, won an MVP. I'm not taking an MVP. I'm not a top 10 player. No, he's not.
And triple doubles. Well, and
triple doubles are not the same now they used to be because of the way point guards play now. Triple doubles are not the way they used to be. You can't hand check anymore. You can't play the same kind of defense you used to play anymore.
You can't.
Okay.
Well, I think, and if it was to validate MVP more, it seems like it'd have to be a postseason award too. You have to include that.
And you have to do that in the NBA because the regular season, you can win 60 games in the regular season. Big whoop. Okay, big whoop. You got to win big playoff series. I mean, come on.
The reason why I think Giannis is a top 5 player, and to me, I kind of put him right up there. I'm putting him top 3. I may put him top 2. Is the fact
top
that
2? Come on.
No, because look at the stats that he did put, and he can't shoot. But just imagine that, because a lot of players like their lack of shooting ability would limit them. They wouldn't put up nearly the amount of stats in the league unless you're kind of playing a below average team.
Yeah, I don't care when he drops 50 points against the Bulls.
Yeah. But he's putting up stats versus anyone. Now this is just one of those things where it's now if he. And now, let's say if this is kind of a continuation of Game 1 throughout the whole series, and he's not, performing that well, throughout the series, then I would say he is maybe on the outer skirts of the top 5, because you got to prove it in the playoffs. I want to. It's like Peyton Manning before he won the Super Bowl. Yes, he was a very good quarterback. I need to see you do it in the playoffs. Now it's kind of like with Giannis. He's putting up insane stats. He's right there with one or two for MVP. You got to do it in the playoffs. Even if your team loses, you got to at least do something. You said 7-21.
Yeah.
Shit, terrible. Yeah. Especially for someone that doesn't shoot. When you're getting more high quality chances than just someone chucking up 13 and 14 threes a game. But I just think he is that good, because how do you stop that man?
Yeah,
consistently.
The Celtics are proving how you stop them.
Yeah, but that's the first team that figured it out.
Yeah.
All game. Now, is it going to work through the whole series, though?
Yeah, which we'll find out. But the thing is, too, all those guys that you said on your list, they all have pieces around him. He really doesn't. I get Brogdon can come in and be.
Middleton's not a bad player.
He's not bad. Bledsoe, passes Brown.
Okay,
he'll have his moments.
All right, let me ask you a question. Does he have as good of pieces as Kawhi has around him in Toronto? Let's be honest. He probably has as good. Lowry's not that good anymore.
What about
Siakam's good? I'll give you that.
Pascal, how do you?
I think Siakam.
I think.
But who's better, Middleton or Siakam? It's pretty close there.
Yeah, I think it is. But I think at the same time, I think Kawhi's not having as good of a year though as Giannis.
He did have those feet. Didn't even because. He had Lowry to play point, Siakam.
When teams have won championships, like a great player's won championship. When was the last very good player to win a championship? Not saying he's doing by himself, because he does have he does have pieces around him, but it's not like an elite Wade or LeBron with Wade, Shaq with Kobe.
You probably would say maybe Dirk when he won the championship in 2011 had a lot of good pieces around him. He had Sean Marion, he had Jason Terry, he had Jason Kidd.
That's me the only one. Other than that, if you're going on a consistent run, obviously we want to go and state obviously Durant, Curry, we all know that story.
Yeah.
It's you got to at least have a top maybe 10 to 15 piece around you to really be considered a legit, to a legitimate chance year after year after year to win a title. But he doesn't have.
But
I'm
not talking about title with Giannis. Why don't we just win a big time playoff series? Last year against the Celtics, he loses in 7. If he loses this one, I'm sorry, I'm not putting him in the top 5. You got to win a big time playoff series to be a top 5 NBA player.
See, okay, I could understand that if he doesn't. But the thing is, okay, but let me just say, what if he averages, let's say something like Well, what did he average this year? Let's
He
just
averaged like 20. He averaged about 27 a game.
okay. Let's just say he averages this year. Let's just say he averages about 30 to 35, and about maybe. Let's say roughly about 8 to 10 rebounds, and let's throw in maybe some 6 assists type thing. Yeah, and he averages that through the whole playoff series. Let's say it goes about 6, 7. And his team loses, though. Are we still not saying he's a good player, though?
I'm not saying. Yes, you have to. If you're the best player, you got to make everyone around you better. You got to elevate everyone's game around you.
But if people are missing straight up 3-pointers, I don't know how many more.
That's why you have to take the ball to the basket, draw double teams, get guys open 3-point shots. Not just dribble the ball and pass the ball to a guy. Dribble the ball, not draw a double team, pass the ball to a guy and misses a 3-point shot. That's what's going to happen to very good to good players. And above average to good players, they're gonna not make shots that are contested. You got to make them. You got to draw double teams so they can have open 3-pointers. That's what the great players do in this league. And I'm saying the top players do in this league, and that's why right now I don't have. Right now, if the Bucks don't win the series, I'm not gonna have Giannis as a top 5 player. It's as simple as that.
I'm gonna keep him out there. They win or lose a sit. I think
unless he bombs
unless he doesn't do any of the next 3 games, okay. But I think they will. I think he actually steps up. I see a big game from him tonight. I just do. I see a big game from him in the Bucks tonight.
Well, and overall, the Bucks, I believe, if they were right up there, if not the best defensively, they weren't the best defensively that game in Game 1. I mean, you could see it was all working for the Celtics. And other than that one streak that they had, I believe it might have been late first quarter into the second, where they cut it down from 15 and ultimately taking the lead for a little bit. If it wasn't for that one run, this might have been a 30-point. We would have been touching 40-point blowout. The way that was going. So I think overall, I think it was one of those things. It could potentially have been now Brogdon being hurt, and not being able to play, definitely hurt him. But I think it might have been they kind of were feeling themselves a little bit. The Celtics, even though they have a younger team, they do have Kyrie. He has a playoff experience. Horford's been around since it seems like the Stone Age at this point, but he has playoff experience. He's that veteran playoff guy you want. The Bucks really don't have that. Yeah. So they're kind of realizing this is what playoff basketball is. Because round one was essentially
but that was for last year when they didn't have playoff experience and lost in 7 games to the Celtics. Got Mike Budenholzer, who was one of the top coaches in the NBA. It's inexcusable to put Giannis. You can't put Giannis in the top 5 if he doesn't win this series. He's got to win a big playoff series. I know the Celtics are a good team, but when you win 60 games all year, you have to win a big time playoff series. Giannis is a superstar. I'm there with him being a superstar, but I'm not there yet with him being a top 5 player in the league.
And I think you can't throw it all on him because besides Middleton,
they lost by 20 points in the playoffs. That is on the best player on the team.
Bledsoe, Brown, and Brook Lopez were combined 3 for 17. 3 for those are 3 starters, right?
Okay, all right, I'll give you that.
That's just
Brook
Lopez took 4 threes.
Well, and also they
go to the rim, Brook Lopez. Not pulling and taking threes.
But the thing is, he can shoot. But the thing is, with Giannis, honestly his game was in the paint. If they're not making threes, even though they have good 3-point shooters, I'm gonna make you prove it. Make a couple. Until then, I'm sending everyone down on Giannis. Until you prove you're gonna consistently make a 3.
Yeah. And in today's NBA, look at all the top 5 players in the NBA right now. Steph Curry, best 3-point shooter in the game. Kevin Durant, great 3-point shooter. James Harden, great 3-point shooter. LeBron James, yes, his 3-point shooting isn't great yet, but he's falling out of there. Kawhi Leonard, great, really good 3-point shooter. All of the top players in the game can shoot threes. That's the problem with Giannis right now. He's got to make that shot. He has to have a great 3-point shot, and if he does, he'll be right there. He might be the best player in the game, but right now I have him below those 5 guys right now. Okay,
I'd say him right now for 5th probably.
I say 6th.
I'd say 3, potentially touching 2, but I think at least for me personally, I think we can all say Durant is the best player.
Durant's the best.
Because I just think there's really no way you can guard him.
No way.
And I just think with Giannis, because he's so freakishly in length, and I think the only person he can argue defensively is better is Kawhi. In terms of someone that's like shooting guard, small forward, power forward type thing. But I just don't, because I think with their stats, if I'm not mistaken, I don't have it right in front of me, is that they're still relatively close. If not, Giannis might have been, leading in a lot of them, and a guy just can't shoot. Maybe let's just say he even gets like a jumper like LeBron, like to the extent LeBron, which it wasn't. No one was mistaking LeBron for Steph Curry, but he had somewhat of a jumper. He could throw it in from now and then. If he gets that, you're going to put him right there with Durant, and you can't not stop this guy. He will straight bully ball you into the paint, and then if you got a jumper, good luck.
Yeah, I feel like you can sag off him and let him drive with, or sag off him, let him shoot. He was 3 for 5 Sunday, but will he make more?
Yeah, when he was making those threes, I'm like watching him, like, what is going on?
Yeah.
Like, I'm not expecting you to hit a 3, and he was pulling up, like, confident, too. I'm like, hey, if you're making it, you're making it. Yeah. But he was pulling up like, he was like Durant, like, dribble, 3, and I was like, goes in. I'm like, what? That should not happen.
Yeah.
That should not happen, but it does. But, again, playoffs is all about adjustments and execution. And it's really going to stress it on their coach and Giannis. Can you make adjustments to Brad Stevens, to the defense of Horford, to help from Jaylen Brown, Tatum, and all of them? Can you do that? Yeah, we're gonna see.
Alrighty, so we'll move on to the Houston and Golden State series, and Golden State wins the first game 104-100. And I mean, I think Harden had 35 points, but he's got to shoot better, I think, for Houston to win the series. Yes, Thompson and Steph Curry did not have good games in game 1, and Golden State still won that game because of how good Kevin Durant is. And let's be honest, he's the best player in the sport. I mean, he could just do anything. I think the one thing I have him and Curry 1-2. I think Curry has the leadership factor over him. I feel like Kevin Durant's a little insecure, but skill-wise, it's definitely Kevin Durant. Leadership-wise, I like Curry more, but skill-wise, it's Kevin Durant. But in this series, Harden has got to shoot the ball better. Capella's got to get more involved, like he did early in the Utah series, for Houston to win this series. Big game 2 tonight, but if things continue to go the way they are in the Rockets, Harden continues the shooting slump. Yes, he's great at getting, one of the best players in the league getting to the basket, but if he continues the shooting slump, I think Golden State wins this series in 5 or 6 games.
Yeah, and I'm going to ask you this. So, Rockets took 47 threes. Do you think anybody in this league could win a 3-point shooting contest in a 7-game series with the Warriors? Because I don't think there's anybody. No. So why does Houston keep trying?
The sad thing is that's literally their game. They take what they like. What is it? The analytics and all that stuff. Said it's like the most. I don't know what's the right word. The smart, like they're what they consider the smartest shots is either you take a 3 or you take a shot in the paint. Like anything from the 3 to the paint and all this in between, they don't use it. Like, remember when Carmelo was on the team for a little bit? There was a couple times he took long 2s, and then he looked back at the bench and was like,
it was good they got Carmelo off that team.
But he was looking back and he was like, I'm like, he was sorry that he took a 2, and it's like, it seemed like they were legitimately, not legitimately mad, but they were like, I'm saying, like, dude, just take 1 step back and take a 3. But that's not their game. You might as well. I mean, you're not going to beat them going to the paint with that team that they have built.
Yeah, and I'm with you, Steve. Trying to get Clint Capella. Could you shoot 14 for 47 for 3? It's not falling today. Try something else. Stop chucking 3s up. And I'm also okay. Yeah, I heard that they did miss 3 calls at the end of the 4th quarter. Deal with it. Stop. Hit 2 more 3 balls and it doesn't matter. Do something else. Go with the drive. Go try to draw another foul. Like, I just don't understand it. I just think it makes it worse if you keep complaining about the referees. I just feel like it just makes things worse because you're going to be more worried about the refs making a good call than you are about the Warriors.
Yeah, I bet Olajuwon in those days didn't worry about the referees, and they won back-to-back championships in 94 and 95. They didn't worry about the refs. This team worries about the refs. I think that's the problem with this Houston team.
Well, and their whole game for Harden is, like, the big thing he's added to his game recently is manipulation. In terms of, like, they say, like, when like, I remember when they mentioned it, was it Gene Skeletor mentioned it in NCAA tournament with, was it Kyle Guy from Virginia got fouled on that 3-pointer with Auburn? He was saying, when you go to jump up and contest a shot, if you go from an A to A shot, which is, if you start here and you land there, okay, it's good contest. But if you start here, and not necessarily, like, also with Harden, like, if you start here, but then your feet end up here, it's like you're obviously trying to draw a foul. And the fact that, listen, maybe you got the calls in the regular season. Okay, it's regular season. In the playoffs, they're not putting the Joe Schmo referee in.
Yeah.
They're putting, I don't know what they do, kind of like similar to the
Colin
NFL.
Coward talked about it yesterday. That's a you problem. It's a Harden problem.
Yeah,
Not the referee's problem.
Yeah, I don't know if they do it like how the NFL would do like the all-star referee type stuff, but they're going to put the more experienced referees in there. So you're not going to be getting those calls consistently. Just make the shot, fool. Stop complaining. That is the type of stuff. Like, the reason, like, that's the type of stuff that makes you become, like, the fans stop liking so much, stop flopping so much. Just make the shot. Stop complaining.
It's like a taste of his own medicine right now. Of all the calls he gets during the regular season.
Yeah, it's like, woohoo, this is, this is the world's smallest violin getting played right now. Like, get over it. The fact of how many calls you get, and they're just complete shenanigans. Yeah. There's no reason you should get any of those calls in the regular season, and you don't get those calls, and guess what? Payback.
Yeah, they're going to lose by 30. I don't think they won't, but they lose by 30 the rest of the series and go, the refs blew the series. Come on, man. Let's figure something out.
The whole Houston Rockets organization is whining.
It's
boo-hoo. It's the Warriors. You're not as good. Get over it.
Yeah, you're not going to beat them playing at 14 for 47. Yeah. It's like you got to try to make some adjustments. Go to like Clint Capella in the paint or something. Yeah, he averaged 16 points in the regular season. Go get him the ball. He was scored 4 points. He was 1 for 2.
It's like if you're you got to look over at the Warriors about, do we have a player as good as Kevin Durant? No, it ain't even close. Yeah. Do you have a player as good as Curry? I would say no, but you can argue Harden and Curry. Now, do you have who do you take, like Clay or Chris Paul? Depending on how you want to build your team, I'm going to be taking Klay Thompson. So out of the best 4 players, you have one. And one of them you're not even close to with Kevin Durant. 2, I would say you're not that close to Curry, and personally, just because he just makes that team work. He is, even though Durant's the better player, Curry's a more important warrior, because you could just tell when he's out, the team just isn't the same. Get over it. You're playing the Warriors, the Rockets are playing the Warriors game. That is, they're not trying to beat them at their own game, and that's not what they do. 3-point is what the Rockets do. You're not as good you're not as good at it as the Warriors are. Get over it.
Yeah, the Warriors only took 22 threes. They only made 7 of them. But
yeah, you could easily argue they had the 3 best shooters in the whole league on their team. And they took, 22 threes compared to how many?
7.
Yeah.
You're not going to win a championship shooting 4.
Take smarter shots.
Yeah.
All right, on to last night's game, and the Sixers even the series 1-1 as they beat the Raptors 94-89 last night. Jimmy Butler saved them with 30 points because Embiid didn't have that good of a game. Neither did Ben Simmons. He has 6 points. Ben Simmons needs to him and Embiid need to step up in this series for the Sixers to win this series. I mean, their bench was better than the Raptors bench. That was a big reason they won last night. Kawhi Leonard's continued to be outstanding. He's averaging probably like 40 points a game in this series. Had 45 in game 1, 35 in game 2. Siakam played well. So did Kyle Lowry. Raptors got nothing out of their bench. That was another big reason why they lost that game, because the Sixers bench outplayed the Rockets bench, and Jimmy Butler was just outstanding for the Sixers. So I mean, I think this is going to be a 6 or 7 game series. I mean, I think if Simmons and Embiid step up, the Sixers will win this in 6. But if they don't, I think they end up losing it in 7. But I think this is a really even series. Kawhi's proving, in my opinion, why he's the best player in the East. I know you guys disagree, but still, I think this series goes to 6 or 7 games.
Yeah, I'm back for with the Giannis Kawhi, but I know Embiid was coming off the stomach illness, so I don't think he was at 100%. But
real quick, did you hear his lovely post-game interview about that?
No, I did not.
Okay, I can tell you about it off the air because it's not exactly PG.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
But I feel like Simmons again. We can go back to the honest. He's not a great shooter, but I feel like when the Sixers play fast, they're a much better team when they play fast. But that's when it beats off the floor, though. So it's like,
real quick, sorry, but the thing is with Simmons and Giannis will at least attempt a couple. Yeah. Ben Simmons you could literally I could be guarding Ben Simmons, and I could stand under the basket, and that man will still not take a jumper. He will still drive to the hole.
He probably would. Simmons. So Simmons in transition is great, but like they don't really run a ton with it and beat on the floor. And I feel like that's the problem here. Is like you either taking Embiid, who's one of the best centers in the league, or Ben Simmons is like the biggest point guard, athletic. Yeah, you can't shoot, but it's in transition at 6'10", you can't stop him. So it's one of those two things. But I feel like it's Philly's bench. Like Greg Monroe comes off the bench, gives them 10 points. James Ennis the third comes off, gives them 13 points. Like if their bench could just give them like 15, 20 points a game, they'll be fine. But you do got to find a way though to somehow slow Kawhi Leonard down. You're not going to stop him, but slow him down a little bit. Lowry's been playing has been playing better since that game 1 debacle, you want to call that?
Yeah, 0 points, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. So, and the Raptors bench only got 5 points. They only played 9 guys. Serge and Nate Powell only 5 points out of your bench. You're not winning any games. I don't care who you are.
I think this series is all going to come down to point guards because I think right now, obviously, in the Raptors, it goes, obviously, Kawhi's 1. I think, Siakam's 2. And then, Kyle Lowry can be a possible 2 depending on his night, but I'd more likely put him as a 3. And also with the Sixers, It Simmons. It all just depends how they shoot, because if Ben Simmons can at least just get to the hole, and he even pulled up for the occasional jumper, it would open up lanes and shots for Jimmy Butler, for Tobias Harris, Embiid if you wanted to take one, and then the ultimate shooter in the series is JJ Redick, because that guy, it's all the guy does. He's literally like Richard Hamilton. The guy just runs around in circles around
shoots threes.
Yeah, around the court, and is probably the most annoying player to guard in that whole series, because it's like he's like a little fly that you can't catch, and then he pulls up from 3 and he drains it in you, and you're just like, the next possession, do it all again. But it's all coming down to point guards. Is Lowry going to play good? If Lowry plays how he could, Raptors win. If Ben Simmons, if they can, because in order for Ben Simmons to be more effective, got to be in a transition game. If it's just half court after bucket, just dribbling it up, he ain't gonna be that effective this series. I mean, it's just not gonna happen. If they do that, they're gonna get sent home packing.
All right, we'll wrap up our NBA talk with the Nuggets and Trailblazers last night. Nuggets win 112-113. Jokic had a huge game, putting up 37. Murray 23. 4 of the 5 Nugget starters in double figures. Lillard had another big game at 39. But the thing is Cannon with 26, and McCollum didn't play well at 16. Harkless and Aminu need to step up, and McCollum needs to step up for the Blazers to win this series. And I think this is going to be a long series, but it all depends on, can the Blazers get could they get Aminu or Harkless to step up, or McCollum to play better? If one of those guys don't, they're not going to win this series.
Yeah, they're not. But I was very surprised to see how Cannon did. He scored 26. Really, I felt like he was going to have that was not really a mismatch, but I felt like Jokic, I felt him versus Nurkic would have been a really good center matchup, But if Cantor keeps playing like this, they could really turn into a potentially very good matchup right there. But if you could stop, if Cantor could slow him down a little bit, Portland has a very good chance. And Lillard again putting up 39. He's really turned it on this postseason, and he's really coming to the zone. And he's keeping the Portland afloat right now. He's playing very, very well. But McCollum does need to step up, or need to start playing better. Harkless, maybe they if they can get Harkless to get a couple more shots, Portland definitely going this series.
I think Lillard's tired of not being considered as one of the top point guards in the league, because he always gets overshadowed, or not overshadowed. People just don't talk about him nearly as much as they should, because that guy, to me, right there with Kyrie Irving, I kind of put him up above Kyrie in terms of just the clutch factor, probably 1-2 in terms of just clutch. And the fact that in this game you get 26 from Cantor. I thought you're telling me the Blazers are going to get 26 from Cantor and 39 from Lillard. I'm going to be leaning that the Blazers are going to win that game. But then 16's not terrible, but for someone like McCollum, I need you to do a lot better. 7-17 shooting, 2-7 from 3. I need you to do better. Mm-hmm. Although they did get 17 points from Rodney Hood, but which is a lot more than what I'm expecting from that guy. But I need McCollum to do better, because if McCollum just does decent that game, they win it. But I think Jokic right now, to me, he's right there, if not the best big man in the game right now. I mean, heck, that this man puts up 37 points, 9 rebounds, and 6 assists. And he shot 3 of 5 from 3, and I forgot how many free throws he shot, but he was 100% from the free throw line, especially for a big man. You're not expecting a big man to do that at all. But I think that guy, there's just nothing that guy can't do. And if you could keep that going, and Millsap can give you something, and play more of that stretch 4 position, and then Murray, can just do what he does, getting you 23 and shooting 8 of 15. The Nuggets are gonna, they're gonna make a run. I think personally, if you're giving me more of a chance to who's gonna, and has a chance to, win the West Finals, I'm gonna be picking the Blazers over the Nuggets. I think the Nuggets will just get rolled when it comes to the Western Conference Finals. But right now, this is gonna be a very exciting series, because you got good guard play, and you got a very good chance you get good big men play as well.
Definitely. So we're going to shift to the NFL draft. We're going to do our NFL draft recap, and I got a lot to say with this, because as we'll start how the beginning of the draft started. I think we did our mock drafts. The first 2 picks we had completely right. We had Kyler Murray and Nick Bosa going 1-2. Then a lot of people thought Quentin Williams 3-4. The Jets. A lot of people thought, okay, maybe the Jets might take Ed Oliver, Josh Allen, or Quentin Williams. You knew it was going to be one of those 3 guys. They take Quentin Williams. Okay, one of the best players in the draft. But the draft really started at number 4. And the Raiders, who are right there with who, and I'll get to them, as one of the losers in the draft, the Raiders reached for Clelin Ferrell at number 4, which made absolutely no sense. He's a good player, but he's not Josh Allen. Okay, he's not even Devin White. A lot of people had him rated in the 20s. He's not a Josh Allen. He's not an Ed Oliver. I mean, a lot of draft experts had him rated in the 20s. The Raiders took him at 4, and that was a stunning pick, absolutely stunning pick there. I mean, obviously, then we go to the Bucs. They take Devin White at 5. And here's what really upset me during the draft. Now, I predicted this. We all know on this show, I predicted this on Thursday. I did it in my mock draft. I knew this was going to happen. But Dave Gettleman did it. He took Daniel Jones, a player. He took him at 6 with Josh Allen, who had 17 sacks last year at Kentucky. 17 sacks. The Giants need a pass rusher. They take Josh Allen, who had 17. They pass on Josh Allen, who had 17 sacks last year. And they also, my number 1 choice with this pick, even though I didn't predict it, my number 1 choice would have been Dwayne Haskins, because this team needs a franchise quarterback. So that was my number 1 choice. My number 2 choice was Josh Allen. Daniel Jones, I knew it was going to happen, but
or even Ed Oliver.
Or even Ed Oliver. I mean, but in terms of ranking players, I had him 5 or 6 from what I wanted for the Giants draft pick. And they took Daniel Jones at 6 when they could have easily had him at 17. And Dave Gettleman is trying to talk about this, is trying to tell us that, the Broncos and Redskins would definitely take them, which was a complete lie, which Dave Gettleman has done all offseason. It started with, we didn't sign Odell Beckham to trade him. You trade him to Cleveland. We're going to take the best player available at 6. You don't with Josh Allen. You draft Daniel Jones, who you could have had at 17. And it was a move that
someone should hook him up to a lie detector test and literally ask him just this one single question. With the 6th pick, with Josh Allen, all these players on the board, was Daniel Jones legitimately the best player in that draft that you could have taken? And I would love to see what that said, because we all know that is a bold-faced lie. You could smell the stink coming off that statement from a mile away.
I can't believe after the Senior Bowl, he said he was already decided. Yeah, I don't know did you guys hear that?
Yeah.
And when didn't he only watch 3 drives or something like that? I've heard supposedly.
I'm not even sure.
Well, isn't the Senior Bowl? It's not a complete. It's not completely like the Pro Bowl, but it's not it's not, Bama versus Auburn going at each other, like this the whole time. It's more, it's a softer college game, winning the Pro Bowl.
Yeah, I mean, but it's absolutely ridiculous. They didn't wait until 17 to take Daniel Jones. They thought he would be taken by the Broncos, who you knew weren't going to take a quarterback in the first round. The Redskins, you knew they were not going to take. You knew they loved Dwayne Haskins. You knew they were not going to take Daniel Jones over Dwayne Haskins. They ended up taking Dwayne Haskins. So I mean, it just Gettleman. And then at number 17, you think we need a pass rusher too. Montez Sweat is on the board. I know he was falling, but guess who they take? They take a 342-pound defensive tackle who pretty much is only a 2-down player in Dexter Lawrence. So that's another shaky pick there.
The thing is, he is a very good player, but he is off the field. He's literally spent the last 2-3 games.
What he is a lesser version of Snacks Harrison. That's pretty much what it is. And then with the 30th pick, they trade up, and there have been no corners have gone off the board. I know there was a slew of corners that went off the board in the second round. He probably could have gotten this guy at 37. He trades up to get DeAndre Baker. Now DeAndre Baker might be a pretty good player, but still, he traded up to get a corner when there were a ton of corners that were just coming off the board in the second round. So he trades up for that. So I think the Giants and Raiders definitely had the worst draft of any two teams. The Texans, you could put that right there too. I mean, the Texans with reaching for this Titus Howard guy, that to me, that I don't know. Yeah,
he's a very athletic guy. Maybe that's what they're hoping.
But I thought that was a real reach. That's why my losers in this draft definitely were three teams: the Raiders, the Titans, and the Giants. And my winners in this draft, I have to say, I'd say the Redskins are my one winner. I mean, they could potentially have their franchise quarterback in Dwayne Haskins, and then they could have gotten a steal when they traded up with the Colts at 26 to get Montez Sweat. You look at this front seven. If Sweat pans out, you got Montez Sweat, you got Ryan Kerrigan, you got Daron Payne, you got Jonathan Allen, Reuben Foster in the middle if he keeps his head on straight, and then you got Josh Norman and Landon Collins on the back end. That's a top 10 defense right there. That's a defense that could keep you in games. And despite having poor weapons at receiver, I mean that defense could definitely keep you in games this year. And another one of my winners in this draft was the Jacksonville Jaguars. They get the best player in the draft with Josh Allen. That team is going to be scary rushing the passer with Calais Campbell, Josh Allen, and Yannick Ngakoue. And then you got on the back end, you got Jalen Ramsey and you got AJ Boye. That team could be scary rushing the passer. And then they get that offensive tackle who really dropped Jawan Taylor. So now you got protection for Nick Foles. So I mean, I think Jacksonville and Washington were the two winners in this draft. And then everybody else, we'll see what ends up happening. But the three clear-cut losers were the Raiders, the Giants, and the Texans, and my two clear-cut winners were the Redskins and the Jaguars. Justin, your draft recap.
Yeah, I'm with you with the three the losers. Yeah, with the Texans. Yeah, the Titus Howard. I think there were still some better offensive linemen out there. I do know you need an offensive lineman. For Deshaun Watson, he was hit like 52 or 62 times.
I think he got sacked the most. If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
it was bad.
It was something like that. The Raiders, if they really wanted to, they probably could have drafted back if they actually really wanted this kid and don't know what they're really thinking there. Their last two first round picks, Abrams and Josh Jacobs, I thought were really good picks.
Yeah, those are good picks.
Yeah, those ones are some good ones. The Giants, the Daniel Jones thing, I just go back to the Eli loyalty. This is just all Eli.
It is, and that's the problem. It's loyalty to Eli, and they know David Cutcliffe. Dave Gettleman knows David Cutcliffe, who was Eli's college coach, and they want to make him happy. So they're gonna let's just go take Daniel Jones, the number 6 pick, and that makes no sense there. And going back to the Raiders draft, yeah, Josh Jacobs could be a good back. Offensively, I don't mind the Raiders, especially with some of their skill guys now with Antonio Brown if they get Josh Jacobs. But defensively, this team did not get better. Abram is an in-the-box safety. And Farrell, he's a good pass rusher, but is he going to be a dominant pass rusher on a team that desperately needs pass rush? No, when they could have had Josh Allen.
Yeah. I'm telling you, this is what Gruden.
Yeah.
He's thinking. I guarantee this is what he's thinking with Abrams. And I'm not saying he's going to be this low guy by any stretch of imagination. He's thinking he's going to be John Lynch. That's his John Lynch mold, of a player. Now, essentially, with the Raiders, your payoff for being terrible this whole year and it was painful to watch. Your payoff for this whole year was Clinton Farrell.
Yeah.
If I'm a Raiders fan, I'm like, really? When Josh Allen was there, even they drafted someone like Devin White. Yeah. I'd been fine with that if I was a Raiders fan. The best linebacker in the draft. It's like it doesn't make sense.
Gruden just, I think, just tried to outsmart everybody. He's trying to be the smartest man in the room, and he's just trying to get that biggest potential in the draft, right? Like, you know, like
it makes no sense at all.
It just seems like Gruden's personality, though.
Yeah, I don't get that. That pick and then Daniel Jones pick. You talk to that to nauseum, but those two picks to me are probably the dumbest picks in this whole draft.
Yeah.
The only other question, or not question, sorry, but player that dropped a lot that I thought there's two. One was obviously Montez Sweat. I didn't think he would drop that far.
Yeah.
Sorry, three people. Montez Sweat, because no one expected him to drop that far. DK Metcalf, I thought someone would at least take him in the second half at first, maybe move up into the second or the first half of the second round. But he dropped way down. And then even someone in the linebacker that the Browns got, which I think should actually be relatively steal, and that's going to make that defense even good.
You've been talking about Mac Wilson.
Because I just thought when I was seeing late that he might be more a second, third round pick. But I think he dropped, if I'm not mistaken, to the fifth round. Now, if you add that guy to, Myles Garrett, the Denzel Ward, who's a stud corner, Greedy Williams, who can cover, but has probably the tackle ability of me. You have coverage. You have Mac Wilson that can do a little bit of everything. Myles Garrett is a freak, and then that team's loaded with talent. That could be one of the potential steals of the draft, and potentially Drew Lock, because who knows how that works out. The only way I think that he would have been taken, the Broncos would have taken him in the first round, would have been if Dwayne Haskins somehow went before the Broncos, because then I think they would have, because they wouldn't worried he would have been the only quarterback left at that point, unless team wanted to trade for Josh Rosen. But I mean, that could be a big time steal, because you get him in the second round. You got Noah Fant, who that cut deep for me as a Patriots fan, because I wanted that guy. And I think if he could potentially last a couple more picks, they probably could have traded up for him, because they were really liking that guy and would have been a perfect fit. But I just think with the Raiders with Farrell, that pick was just dumb and straight up stupid. Daniel Jones pick, I mean, you could have got him with the 17th pick. I think relatively easy.
Probably could have got him day 2 too.
Yeah, and there's a big potential for that. And then you just need a pass rush, and it's just you messed it up last year. Although I'm fine with Barkley or the quarterbacks that were there, like Darnold and all that.
I'm not fine with it right now.
He's not fine with it, but
I think you're really giant.
Yeah. But and now then you messed it up where it's just pass rush everywhere. Pass rush here, and here, and you draft Daniel Jones.
And here's my closing thought on it.
Terrible.
All these people that say, Gettleman's trying to say, we're going to use the Green Bay model. That is complete nonsense. I would not be surprised if the Giants start 3-7 or they're 3-8 at the end of November, and Eli's not playing well. Daniel Jones gets on the field. There is definitely a chance Daniel Jones is getting on the field. He's not sitting 2 to 3 years behind Eli. I'll guarantee this. He will be the starter game 1 of the 2020 season. You can write that down. And if Ted Keys, Trevor Keys, and Joe Aguirre disagree with me, I will be right about this. He will be the starter game 1 of the 2020 NFL season. He will be the starter.
With Gettleman, I wouldn't be surprised, because he has ties to Eli. If it's any other quarterback, that wouldn't be the case. I could actually see that, because it's Eli Boyle.
But he will be. Daniel Jones will be the starter at the beginning of the 2020 season, because they will let no matter unless they don't win the Super Bowl or make a deep playoff run this year, they're going to let Eli. They're not going to give Eli the franchise tag. They're going to let Eli go, and Daniel Jones will be the starter to start the 2020 season. You don't pick a guy in the top 6 to not have him to even have him sit a year is now it doesn't usually happen, but to have him sit 2 years, picking him in the top 10 and have him sit 2 years is not going to happen. Daniel Jones will start at the beginning of the 2020 season. This Green Bay model is a complete nonsense with Dave Gettleman. Just like you said, we didn't sign Odell to trade him, or we take the best player available at 6. It's complete nonsense with Dave Gettleman. Daniel Jones will be the starter game 1 of the 2020 NFL season for the Giants.
Even with Gettleman, look like what he did with the Panthers with Josh Norman. Now, that was more, if I'm not mistaken, Norman's agent was more kind of not exactly doing what Norman wanted him to do, and that kind of strained the relationship. And then Norman said, listen, dude, I'll come back to the Panthers. I want to come back. And Gettleman's like, nah, I'm good. Bye. And at that point, Norman was one of the best corners in the league that season. It's that guy, it just seems like he wants to be the big man on campus, when really you should just focus on instead of being a big man on campus, just make a good team.
Yeah, and you want to know
check your ego at the door.
You want to know more proof that Jones will start at the beginning of the 2020 season? Because Eli Manning already has canceled his appearance on Mike Francesa's show, which he's been doing for the last 6 years. He's already canceled his appearance because he doesn't even know if he's going to be starting late into this season. So that's why I know for sure Daniel Jones will be starting game 1 of the 2020 season for the Giants.
I wouldn't be surprised. I think Eli would still be in the roster. I could never see Gettleman letting Eli go. That would be the day.
Yeah.
Just seeing all of what happens. Obviously, I can never see that happen. But I can't wait till Dwayne Haskins comes to MetLife.
Oh, man.
I wouldn't want to.
They do play week 4, but Case Keenum could be starting week 4. But they will play in week 16. I'll guarantee you it'll be Dwayne Haskins. It could be Dwayne Haskins and Daniel Jones in week 16.
It was funny with Haskins when you've seen the clip where they have where they show Dwayne Haskins when Daniel Jones gets announced. Like, I think he has his headphones in, like kind of like looking on his iPhone or whatever phone he had, and he just makes that look where it says, with the 6th pick, the Giants select Daniel Jones. He's just like, yeah, okay. And then the fact that you could tell when he got drafted by the Redskins, honestly, I don't know personally because I'm not a Giants fan. I think the Redskins are one of the mortal enemies of the Giants. If I'm not mistaken.
The Cowboys and the Eagles now are more of enemies, but the Redskins definitely, yes, they're an enemy of the
Giants. You could tell he was kind of like, the Redskins. I gotta play for the Redskins. Well, I
guess he lives like
you're catching the hands now, Giants. Is what it's like you're pouring gasoline on the fire that this guy already with that pouring that onto the chip that's on his shoulder to prove that he's good. It's just I wish you could ask him, like Dave Gettleman, just sit down and legitimately get legitimate answers and ask him what does he do better than Haskins? Is it arm strength? No. Is it accuracy? No. Is it production in college? No. Yeah. Is it mobility? Okay, maybe a little bit. But who cares about mobility when you're accurate, 70% completion percentage with 4,800 yards and 50 touchdowns in college? What is going on? I don't get it. I don't understand.
Did you see your coach with Gettleman the next day about the press conference? They were sitting together at a press conference. They were talking about Gettleman was talking about Daniel Jones. Pat Shurmur was just sitting there. You knew
because Pat Shurmur's like, it's just like Cleveland. He's like, here we go again, another dysfunctional organization I'm the head coach of. And the problem with Shurmur is he's a really good he's a good X's and O's. He's a really good offensive mind. But the problem is and he's a decent leader of the room. But the problem is he's too much of a yes man. And he's letting Gettleman do too much to this team. He's letting Gettleman run this team too much. He's not having as much input as he needs to have as the head coach. Tom Coughlin would never put up with this. I like Pat Shurmur. He's a good guy. He's a pretty good leader and a good X's and O's guy. But he needs to stop being a yes man because he's looking. Dave Gettleman is right now looking like he's destroying this team right now.
Well, let's just say if Daniel Jones gets in at any point this year, you got to set this guy for success. And what it means, you have to have a number 1 receiver. Sterling Shepard's a solid. He could be a solid 2 and a very good 3. Evan Ingram, I like him as receiver head. Honestly, Barkley can do everything. You're not going to set this man up for success, and if you just put him in this year, which I'm going to be surprised if he comes in at some point this year, you're just going to ruin that man's confidence, and you're going to be done from jump before it even started. It's going to be done, and first as a Patriots fan, I'll just say I'm loving this because I find it funny when you just do something so blatantly stupid, but. Hey, good luck, gentlemen. Yes. Good luck with that New York media.
So we'll talk about our steals of the draft and we'll do like a Pat's draft recap for you and for Kyle and Justin.
Hey.
So my 3 steals in this draft are I'm going Greedy Williams of the Browns. I think he's a really good cover corner and getting him in the 2nd round is a steal.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna go DK Metcalf. Getting him late 2nd round for the Seahawks, trading up to get him. And then David Montgomery. And I think David Montgomery could give more production to the Bears running game than Jordan Howard did last year. I think it's a really good pick in the 3rd round. David Montgomery and Tack Cohen, I think now this running game is as good or even better as it was last year, and it was a good running game last year. I think that's a steal. And to recap the Patriots draft, I liked it. I think it was a B+. I liked the N'Keal Harry pick. I thought they retched on the corner from Vanderbilt, but I liked the Damian Harris pick too, having him and Sonny Michel in that backfield, sharing that backfield with James Devlin as a fullback. And don't forget James Devlin, best fullback in the league, is going to give Brady
one of the only fullbacks.
Yeah, exactly. Is going to give Brady that running game. So I think I'm going B+ for the pass draft, and my steals are Montgomery, Metcalf, and Williams. Justin.
Yeah, I'll start with my steals. I think my 3 steals was Montez Sweat going to Washington at 26. I had, people were talking about the top 10 for him. I love that one, and just makes that Washington defense so much more solid. I'm also going to go with 35 with Jaguars, taking Juwan Taylor at 35. I had him going 7th in my mock draft, Jacksonville. They got him at 35th to help.
That's why the Jags are one of the winners of the draft, getting Allen and getting Juwan Taylor.
Yeah, they got 2 guys that are arguably the top 10, in the first and in the second round. And then my last one also, I'm going to go with Greedy Williams. Again, if he was more consistent tackling wise, if he could become a better tackler, he definitely would have been in the first round.
At least if he showed the effort.
Yeah, the effort. I think, maybe now he's in the NFL, maybe he'll come, because I don't think, because if he doesn't, he won't be in the league very long.
Oh, yeah.
For my Pat draft, I thought it was a pretty good draft. I didn't understand the punter pick. That was a weird one.
Yeah.
I did want to go tight end. The D tackle Brian Cowart from Maryland, he had
there's potential there,
but not much.
We'll see.
Stidham, there's a lot of people that like Stidham. Now, he didn't have great weapons at Auburn. I don't,
They also said the fit for him was a little weird. Like, he can move a little bit. Like, he's not, running like a 5.5 40 over here. But I think the offense more built for a quarterback like a King Newton-esque type quarterback, not Stidham.
Yeah, because Stidham, too, as opposed to this year, people were talking about top 10, so you got him in the 4th round, so maybe he comes to steal. And I do like Chase Winovich from Michigan. Co-defensive player of the year, I think, Big Ten. Plays a little bit out of control at time, but, I do like him. He's at the... Kind of looks like Clay Matthews.
We know he watched a lot of... Justin watched a ton of college football.
He looks like Clay Matthews, and he looks like Fabio.
I love my college football. But, I think the Pat's solid, but, we're like tight end because now I think have 0.
We have Austin Seferian-Jenkins.
Oh yeah, I forgot we signed him. I forgot about him.
I think like the Steelers franchise. I think you can go Drew Lock. With the Broncos potentially.
But he's going to be sitting for a couple years.
Yeah, he is. But I think like with that potential down the road, I think guys like you guys said, Greedy Williams. To me, I think Mac Wilson. I like that guy. I just think he can.
You were in love with Mac Wilson.
Well, I just think he can do work. I'm surprised he lasted that long. But hey, more power to you, Browns. You finally did something right. Golf clap. Well, I think one of the big ones. Technically they didn't draft the guy. Could be Josh Rosen with the Dolphins.
Absolutely.
Because they're not going to have to pay that man at all.
Yeah, and if you can get some pieces around him, that I think he could definitely succeed. The only issue there is the Dolphins still, because of the talent they have around Rosen, might end up going 4-12 at least. So delusionally, they might still think, even though they have a franchise quarterback right now, they might delusionally think, we want to get better, just like the Cardinals did this year. And they may trade Josh Rosen, even if they're 4-12.
Imagine they have him again. Be like, you're a top 10 pick quarterback, and you get traded in your first 2 years.
I did like the way
really?
Rosen walked out too. That was very professional.
Yeah, you could tell though he's annoyed. I mean, I would be too if I'm him. I'm gonna I saw a thing where Steve Smith was just ripping into Josh Rosen. I'm like, dude, you got to think about it from his point of view. You get drafted, they moved up to pick you, and then the rug gets pulled out from under you. It's like literally, it's like if someone in college football, okay, this coach recruited me, but then he leaves the next year, then I might not get a fair shake. And it's like, here in the pros, you want to get a fair shake because this is how you're going to be making your money. How feeding your family. Now, I understand Rosen comes from money, but you still want to make your own money. And that, to me, I can understand why he'd be mad at that. I think the Patriots, I just wanted DK Metcalf just because of pure physical, freakish talent that guy has. I'm fine with Nikhil because he is a good down the field 50-50 ball. You see that catch he made in college? We're falling back probably about this far from the ground, falling back like this. I mean, hopefully you can hear me. Falling back like this and just making a catch like that. It's just that is not natural. But you made the catch. If he could become there's Michael Thomas, I would love that. The corner, did they reach a little bit? I think they did to an extent, but I'm fine with it because if you can make it into that kind of talent, you will have on the outside Stephon Gilmore, who played one of the best corners last year. And then you had, what was it, Joe John Williams, I'm mistaken, that was his name, 6'4" corner that has decent speed. It's not a burner, but you're not thinking of him the Denzel Ward speed, but he has decent speed for his size. You have him on the outside, and you have Make sure J.C. Jackson in the slot, Jonathan Jones, Jason McCourty. Like, you're deep at corner now. Now, with the tight end, like you said, they want a tight end. Noah Fant, that hurt when they drafted him. I think maybe Irv Smith, but I'm like, okay. That's the only problem I have with their draft. It's just no tight end.
Yeah.
It's not even like they drafted one later on. They just didn't draft one, period.
Yeah.
When Chase Winovich, I think that could potentially, be a steal because he is a good pass rusher. But we'll see. I'm right about with Steve. I would say about a B+.
Yes. So we're going to go on to the Kentucky Derby just for quick. We're going to quickly talk about that in the NHL playoffs. So Kentucky Derby this Saturday, obviously a big day. Really one of the few days I think a lot of us follow horse racing. So look at the odds. Omaha Beach 7-2, Roadster 7-2, and Probable 5-1, Maximum Security 6-1, and Game Winner 7-1. Whatever any thought you have on the Kentucky Derby, you thought you have. Yeah,
I love the game or the name Game Winner, so I'm going to take Game Winner.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, I'll just go there because of that name. But it is always cool to watch because it's like it's like one of those things like in terms of like the big like golf tournaments. Like unless you're like an avid fan of it, you always watch it. But it seems like those big ones, everyone tunes into the Kentucky Derby. It's just. It just has like the aura about it. You can see like there's celebrities everywhere, and it's a very cool event to watch.
Yeah. Absolutely. So we're going to wrap up the show talking a little bit of NHL players. This is kind of when Justin and Kyle get their time to go back and forth. And tonight's a big game for the Bruins. Game 3 of their series against the Blue Jackets.
Don't turn the puck over, Bruins.
Yes. Game 3 of their series against the Blue Jackets. It's tied 1-1. I mean, it looks like that this series is probably going to go another, just like the Toronto series, 6 or 7 games. And what are both you and Kyle? What are your thoughts on this series so far?
Well, I think me and Kyle could agree on the turnovers. Boston probably should have got a shutout win on the other night.
You should be up 2-0, Bruins.
Yeah, they should have. Bruins should be up 2-0. Turn the puck over, 2 goals, and especially Chara. Because one of them was Chara, and that's just as a veteran.
You are veteran. You are AARP.
They can't.
You should have the old man wisdom, knowledge going on, and you did something like. You don't do that. Yeah. It's the same thing with Coyle with his turnovers. That one of the cardinal sins of hockey is when Coyle wasn't exactly attempting to clear the puck, but just trying to make a pass. But it's like just don't bring it in front of the net.
Yeah.
You don't do that. That is a no off limits. Don't do that. No. Yeah. And he did it, and it came back to bite him, and now you lost. But you should be up 2-0. You would have so much momentum. And all your momentum went, screech.
Yeah, now you gotta go Columbus 1-1. And Columbus is, now it's got the upper edge. They got the home ice advantage. So, it is a huge game 3 of both these teams. But Bobrovsky played very very well on that, I felt like, Saturday night, though. No.
It's like they're facing apparently god goalies all of a sudden. Like Anderson with the Maple is just making ridiculous saves like he was Martin Brodeur in his prime, and now we got to deal with it again. Yeah, it's like just let the puck in, Bobrovsky, please. But like they were making a lot of especially in overtime, they had a couple of chances where it was like golden opportunities. Like Bergeron had a chance, I believe, it was in the first overtime, where it kind of got like tangled up under stick, and they're like some stick checking and all that, and it's just like I'm in my seat watching. I'm like shoot. Yeah. It was just making audible noises at that point. It really wasn't making any sense. But then there's certain you look at it right now. Carolina's up 2-0 on the Islanders.
That's
right now.
Very tight.
Yeah, I'm just more surprised that the Islanders are making it as far as the fact that you lose John Tavares, one of the most skillful players. That guy is he's a goal scorer to the absolute fullest. And you're making this far. Now, maybe you run into the wall at this point with the Hurricanes.
They did lose Van Riemsdyk, one of their top defenders, so that could hurt.
And I think I give the Sharks credit, the fact that it's a 1-1 series for the sole fact you went to that exhausting Game 7 against Vegas. The fact that you're even tied 1-1, I consider that a win at this point. Because with how tied that wasn't just, you're putting everything out there, and you might be physically, mentally drained I'm kind of expecting you to be down 0-2.
Yeah.
But you're not.
And I think, too, that this may be it for Joe Soren. So I think they want to get him that cup, too. So I think this may be his final, year, maybe.
Yeah,
and then
just
try to get him that
just
final.
shave that beard, Thorin. Like, that is just,
That's long.
God. It's just like, every time we see it, it's like, dude, like, I understand the playoff beard thing in the NHL, but, like, dude, that's ugly.
How do you sleep that? Yeah.
It's just,
hard to look smart.
I'm not a big
Hard
fan
to
of that, but I think with the Bruins, the main problem with the Bruins is, I think, been mostly the whole playoffs, except because, technically, I think you got to go with the last game, it kind of just bounced off him. He didn't really shoot it in. Other than the other game, we lose against Maple Leafs, where he had 2 goals. He's been pretty terrible. He's turning the puck over. Where it's like, even if you just dump the puck in, he can't even do that half the time. It's like, dude, you're so young. You're so talented. What is going on with you? And there's maybe saying potentially that I believe it was a thumb injury where, like, somehow some event he, like, fell and broke his finger somehow, which, of course. Yeah. Maybe that's so bothering him, but he is just not Pasternak. I don't know what's going on. And with the power play, they need him now because he's on that off wing, winding up for that one timer like he's Ovechkin. And it's been not working at all so far.
No, definitely not at all. So that's going to wrap it up this week on Sports Talk with RKJ. For my co-hosts, Justin D'Onofrio and Kyle Galuli. Me and Kyle will be back next week talking NBA playoffs. We'll get back to talking more baseball, and we'll talk a little bit. I'll have Kyle talk a little bit more NHL playoffs next week.
Back with the injury history with the Yankees.
Exactly. It's like, who isn't hurt for the Yankees right now in their starting lineup? So that's going to wrap it up this week for Sports Talk with RKJ. Enjoy the Kentucky Derby, everybody, and have a great weekend.